Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast. Today I'm here with Tasha from the DeMar Consulting Group. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about what do you guys do at DeMar Consulting?
We are a financial-based firm. We do accounting, we do taxes, we do business analytics, and we do wealth management. Kind of a full package. Like the founder and I talk about, we want to take experience that a large corporation has for their accounting and kind of shrink it down for a small business that doesn't have the money to have a corporation sized accounting department, and but give them that same type of um, awareness to their finances.
Okay. And what got you into like the finance space originally? Like what, because I know you started your own business initially as well. Like what got you into all of this?
I kind of fell into it accidentally.
hmm
I was a secretary at a school, and the accountant left. And I was like, hey, I think I can do this. There was nobody else to do it. So I just shifted over into the accounting department. They were running a QuickBooks program. And I was handed a QuickBooks for Dummies book. This was back in like 2002 or so, when people were not really using the internet for research at the time. And I took a little class at a tiny little college that was like an evening class type of thing for about a month. And I just kind of fell in love and just did it. And then I just kind of fell in love with taxes after that. And
hmm
taxes just kind of became my focus in the financial world.
Yeah, nice. It kind of reminds me of a quote Richard Branson has where he's like, if an opportunity presents itself, say yes and then figure out how to do it later. It sounds a little
Exactly.
okay. And then you found your partner at the mom. How did that kind of look like? Like how did you guys meet? And then how did you decide to form this business like together?
So this is the second firm I started. The first one was more of a solo firm. I've always wanted to help people. And as I was working at the first business was more of a 9 to 5 job, I could really only help the one business and the employees there. So the first firm was more of a solo type of venture. And I was limited by capacity, only what I could do. Then I started thinking, I want to do more. And around that time, I started doing more advertising for my little solo firm. And Eric DeMar found me on the internet. And we started working on one client together. And that one client just blossomed into DeMar Consulting Group with multiple departments and a lot of employees, and just turned into more of a thriving venture. And we just had dreams that matched each other.
Mhm.
And so it's been a pleasure just growing the business with him.
hmm Nice. And so how did you guys decide to start working on that initial client together? Like, what did that look like? Because I know getting into business with someone is kind of like marriage a little bit in some way. So, how did you get to that point where you're like, okay, cool, hey, let's test out one client and then kind of grow from there?
He is definitely more ambitious than I am, and I'm much more cautious. But the one client he started on was a nonprofit, and nonprofits are a soft spot for me. And
Mhm.
so I was like, okay, I will help you with this nonprofit. And so I just started wading into the waters. And I don't know if you've heard the story of the camel in the tent. And the idea being that you have a camel and a Bedouin out in the desert. And the camel is like, I just want to sleep with my nose in the tent. And so the Bedouin's like, okay, fine. You can put your nose in the tent. And then the camel says the next night, I'd like to just put my head in the tent if you don't mind. And he says, okay, fine. You can put your head in the tent. And the next thing you know, the whole camel's in the tent. And it was
Yeah.
that sort of thing where I was more
Right.
cautious and I would be like, okay, fine, we can take on another client. Okay, fine, we can take on another client.
Right.
And so slowly but surely, another client. But it started in the nonprofit world, and
Mhm.
nonprofits are my weakness. Nonprofits are kind of where I cut my teeth at.
Yeah.
But that was where I got to know him at too, and that he's a much bigger dreamer than I was. And
Mhm.
that's when I started seeing we can really make a difference. And if we put our efforts together, we can really change the face of accounting firms.
Mhm.
And that really started opening my mind to potential. And
Mhm.
then it went from that to being part of the taxpayer advocacy panel. And that's when I realized that there's more that can be done than just on this side of the IRS, that as a
Mhm.
civilian, I can actually do more inside the IRS along with outside of the IRS as well.
Mhm. Gotcha. And do you find you guys have complementary skill sets as well? Because I know, like, when you're getting into business with someone, that's also a big element. Like, if you both have similar skill sets, then it's not always as good working together. Or what does that kind of look like?
We do. He is a dreamer. He has the larger dreams, the larger ambitions, and I have been more of the nuts and bolts, more
Okay.
of the steady rock.
Mm.
And he has taught me more about dreaming,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I've had to hold him down to stability a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so it's a good balance that way. I have been needing to kind of stretch my wings as far as ambition goes because just naturally I would have a tendency to stay in my corner and just crunch numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But he has pushed me outside my comfort zone, which is good because that's where growth happens, is outside your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't have done that otherwise.
Yeah.
And then I've had to anchor him back to earth a few times.
Right. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's good. And then, so tell us a little bit more. Projects are you guys currently working on? I know when we spoke last, you said there was a couple of like technology things that you're doing.
Yes. So, of course, in the accounting world, that's normal accounting stuff. We have the accounting department that's going to be reconciliations and keeping the clients happy as far as, but we also have CFO work that does the bookkeeping, payroll, and also looking at the client's work from kind of a high level and giving them guidance that way. In the tax world, we do everything from creating tax returns to tax resolution services to tax planning. And then there's the wealth management, which is more retirement planning and looking at individual tax planning along with the long term net worth.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always had a push towards technology, and so is
Yeah.
Eric. And so we've always wanted to push the envelope forward in technology. And one thing that we are trying to push forward is seeing if we can push the next phase of accounting, which is going to be automation, and it's going to include AI.
Mm.
And we've been a part of helping with pushing tax research forward. There's a project that we've helped with called Accordance that is a large language learning model similar to ChatGPT, but they do it's taught with the IRS, it's taught with state taxation, international taxation, so that you can do tax planning, you can do research on it, and it has less hallucinations than like ChatGPT would.
Uh-huh.
And then there's always which I'm going to be talking about tomorrow in a different podcast, there's going to be the next phase of accounting, which is going to be automation with AI as well,
Yeah.
and pushing the envelope forward using AI accounting models. Because I don't think that AI is going to take away accounting jobs. I believe it's going to push our efficiency forward in accounting. It's just
Mm-hmm.
going to be a tool that's going to make us better accountants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, and that's what I've heard a lot of other accountants I've spoken with say as well. It's more AI is going to replace the admin type of stuff, but you're still going to need client-facing people that plan and give advice type of thing.
Yes. But
So,
even within the IRS, I'm pushing technology forward.
yeah.
On the taxpayer advocacy panel, I'm working with pushing it forward with chatbots, with increasing transparency of the IRS online accounts. So there's more self service options,
Mhm.
especially right now with the government being shut down and you can't get a hold of humans. Having
Mhm.
self service options are just essential for taxpayers.
Yeah.
You need to be able to pay your bills. You need to be able to interact with your online accounts. Right now, with the IRS, for a lot of situations, you have to call a human and have the human go into the database and give you information that should be your information. It would be like you calling your email service provider and having your emails read to you by your email service provider, which would be ridiculous in this day and age.
Hmm.
Instead of just logging in and typing something and reading it yourself, which I'm pushing for that type of transparency within the IRS on the online accounts, that you can see everything that's yours at your own fingertips rather than calling a human and having a human read it to you.
Hmm. But it sounds a lot more efficient as well, and a lot, yeah, less costly, I imagine, as well
Yes.
for the IRS. Okay, and then so if we deep dive a little bit more into this like next phase of accounting that you mentioned with automation, with AI, what do you see some of like the tasks that you guys are looking to implement into your business with this next phase that you want to maybe implement AI, maybe you want to automate? What does that look like?
On the accounting end, what ideally should be happening, and it's right now, it's the Wild West. There's many different companies that are trying to build this. It's so far from being perfected yet that it is open to whoever gets there first. But essentially, there's three major steps in the accounting process. And if this could be perfected, we could go from having 5 clients for each staff account to about 20 clients for each staff account. You need to be able to download the transactions into your register. You need to categorize them properly, and then you need to reconcile them with the bank statements. And this needs to be done at least with the reconciliation of the bank statements every single month. But you could download them and categorize them with AI probably in a real time basis once a
Yeah.
day, because that's
Hmm.
how often they're coming from the bank. And your clients then could get daily reports if they wanted to, and up to date information. Back in the day, it was so cumbersome that you had not just download it, you had to enter this by hand. You were doing this once a month, and you were only
Hmm.
getting your updated information once a month, which wasn't enough to make good decisions. If you had
Hmm.
AI refreshing this every single day, then
Hmm.
you can get information so quickly that owners could be making so much better decisions than they're able to make right now.
Hmm.
But QuickBooks is trying to do it. They have an AI module that's out now. There, it's not good. Everybody who's worked with we all complain about it because it makes bad decisions all the time, and we're constantly having to correct its decisions.
Yeah.
But that's constant for QuickBooks. They put out a new module and then they fix the module, and eventually it's a good module. So they're on the right path. And I
Mhm.
believe that they're going to have a good module eventually. And it's really only the first step. and they're trying to work on the reconciliation portion of it as well. So it's like
Mm.
they are trying to get there, but they have a lot of room for improvement. And if an outside company comes in and can get a plugin that does it better and
Mhm.
quicker, then they could snatch up that market share a lot faster. It's just the
Mhm.
Wild West with it right now.
Mhm. So it's essentially something where it's more you get real-time data on bank balances, essentially.
And it's even more than that because you can get the real time data in your bank balances by looking at your bank, but your
Yeah.
bank balance isn't real because there is so much more happening in your finances besides your bank balance. Your bank balance doesn't know checks that have been mailed out but haven't been cashed.
Right.
Your bank balance doesn't know your accounts receivables and your accounts payables.
Right.
Your bank balance can't give you a bunch of different reports where you can look at your finances from so many different angles. It gives you one piece of data that's only a partial piece of data.
Right.
Whereas in your accounting software, it's more like looking at a 3D image that you can tilt and look at it from many different angles. So if
Yeah.
you could get it into your accounting software and get it accurately in there, then you
Right.
could pull daily reports that you can look at it from all these different angles. For
Yeah.
instance, my accounting software personally, I keep up with it daily. I'm an accountant, and so it's not automated. I manually keep up with the data daily.
Yeah.
And so I get that sort of complex ability to look at it at a 3D angle daily.
Mm.
But we can't do that for our clients because it's impossible. But if
Mhm.
we had AI automation doing it, we could do that for our clients daily.
Right. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And then what is there anything else that you feel could be good to automate that takes up a lot of time?
Tax preparation.
Mhm.
The tax preparation takes an insane amount of time, especially some of the reports that we
Mhm.
upload. Um, they have to be right now manually coded in, and some of it can take just hours and hours to
Okay.
manually code in.
Okay.
And the the forms that we get are so standardized. There's no reason why using OCR software it shouldn't just be scanned and read and have AI enter the data in for us.
Yeah.
But it's not yet. I mean, it tries, but it misses stuff and it puts stuff in the wrong spaces. So
Yeah.
it's getting there. It's on the path. It's not there yet. It needs to be perfected.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like yeah, you could probably get something of AI to help with that. I
Yeah.
know we're starting to run out of time here, so let's finish on what's on for like the rest of the year for DeMar Consulting. What are some like the things you're going to be working on for these last few months?
We normally would be doing two things of tax resolution, and we would be doing tax planning.
Mhm.
This time of year is the end of the year for actual taxes because we're just winding down the year. We're in nonprofit season. Nonprofit taxes are due on the 15th of November. So
Mhm.
it's nearly done. And then the IRS normally closes its filing season somewhere in December. It it changes the dates all the time. But because of the government shutdown, we really can't do the tax resolution. We can't resolve anything. Nobody's there at the phones, nobody's answering letters. So, our resolution department, along with all the other CPA firms around the country, all of our resolution departments are almost dead.
Mhm.
So we're having to lean into tax planning, but this is the perfect time of year for everybody to do tax planning because you can get an accurate idea of what your income and expenses are for the rest of the year. Plus, you have time to make financial moves. And there's been a lot of changes this year with the one big beautiful bill that came out, and it's going to change a lot of laws going into next year. And so
Mhm.
if you thought you knew what your refund was going to be or your bill was going to be because it's been fairly stable, that may not be true anymore. And so tax planning is something everyone should be looking at this year.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, it's been great chatting with you. We could definitely go for a lot longer. But where can people find you to learn a little bit more what you guys do?
You can find me at LinkedIn at my name is Tasha Preisner. You can also Google me. I have a number of articles on Yahoo Finance, NASDAQ, things like that. I've got some YouTube videos out, and you can find my website at DeMarConsultingGroup.com. You
Hmm.
can also
Awesome.
sign up for a free consultation with me or one of my team if you would like to talk to us about our services.
All right. Awesome. And I'll include a link in the show notes below. It's been great having you on the show. You guys have been listening to the Business Growth Podcast. Until next time, keep growing.